think it will definitely impact offensive field position positively.
Here's Brown with the return. Brown, one man to beat!
If you look at the XFL, the average starting field position was right around the 30-yard line. Last year, the average starting field position in the NFL was the 25-yard line. So already, just by doing the XFL model would give the offense 5 yards better field position on average.
Kicker from the 30. Return team lined up at the opposite 30. Can't move to the ball is fielded. And here goes Keith Mumphrey. And they're going to turn it around with room on the near side. And for the first time, they get creative. And the Battlehawks have the sideline.
The new NFL hybrid kickoff model was really similar to the XFL model with some tweaks that were made along the way. Really just looking at it from an alignment standpoint first, the kicker is still going to kick off the ball from the 35-yard line, just like everybody's used to seeing in the previous NFL kickoff model. What's going to be different is the other 10 kickoff players, the frontline players, will be lined up on the far 40-yard line. So everybody will be lined up on the far 40-yard line. There'll be rules that have them all spaced out. So we'll have 2 players on each side of the ball outside the numbers, 2 players on each side of the ball between the numbers and the hash, and then 2 players in the middle of the field between the hashes. That's going to take away some of that running and that lead-up running that you're used to seeing in a kickoff, and all those guys will be lined up stationary at that 40-yard line, kind of all spread out. Across from them, the kickoff return team will be 5 yards away. So the kickoff return team will be at the 35-yard line. There'll be mandatory 7 players on the line of scrimmage on that 35-yard line, and 9 players have to be in the setup zone. The setup zone is going to be the 5-yard area after that 35. So the 35 to the 30, there'll be 9 players there, 7 of which will be on their front foot on the 35-yard line. So you can then have 2 floaters that are off the ball outside the hash in that setup area as long as they're between the 35 and the 30. So that'll be kind of the kickoff return front line, 5 yards across from the kickoff front line, and you can have a maximum of 2 returners back deep in the landing zone.
That kick better go beyond the 20, and it does.
The landing zone is going to be the 20-yard line to the goal line, and the kickoff return team can have 2 returners back there to try and field the ball within that landing zone. Every ball they want to hit in the landing zone, and they want as many returns as possible. So contrary to kind of how things went last year with the new fair catch rule, where there was a limited number of returns, we're trying to decrease some of the running and the high impact, increase some of the entertainment value and some of the return.
That may be the answer that Dallas is looking for. Takes the kickoff return all the way back for the touchdown, 92 yards.
If it lands short of the landing zone, that'd be the same thing as kicking it out of bounds. So if you kick it out of bounds, or if it lands up at the 22-yard line, that ball would then be spotted at the 40-yard line. Every ball that ends up landing in the landing zone or thereafter has to either be returned or downed by the return team. Any ball that lands straight into the end zone for a touchback, if it were to be down for a touchback, would go to the 30-yard line. Any ball that were to hit in the landing zone and then roll into the end zone for a touchback, because it hit in the landing zone first, would then be a touchback that goes to the 20-yard line to try and incentivize the return team to return all balls that land within the landing zone. Everybody on the kickoff and kickoff return team can start once the ball either hits the ground or hits a player within the landing zone. And that would kind of be the start of the play. Those are kind of the basic rules of the alignments where we want to place the ball in the landing zone. It's not exactly the XFL model. It's kind of took some tweaks and some different things that are off of that. It's really never been practiced, never been tested, never been done.
I see those 2 guys come side to side, and Fred Brown finds the hole.
First thing we'll do when we get together as a special teams unit is go through the rules so everybody kind of knows, hey, here's the new rules with the kickoff return model.
90-yard kickoff return for a score for the Battlehawks.
As we start to get into OTAs, kind of be able to work this into some different technique and drill work, we won't be able to do a full 11-on-11 until we get into training camp in August, so that makes it a little bit more challenging to kind of be able to experiment with everything to see the big picture of things, but certainly try to experiment with some different techniques, some different ideas of how to handle some different schemes and things that we might be looking to implement, and kind of being able to at least have some idea, okay, here's some things that might work, here's some things that did not work as well for some of the guys. Everybody's going to be studying everybody else, what works, what doesn't work. For sure, this will be something that would be very interesting to see because there's so many unknowns and how everybody kind of adapts off of each other as the season progresses.